Okay, you just said you had an interesting story about the house. What was that?
The house on the hill. Uh, the people who built it were the Evans family uh, that our grandma bought the farm from, and she found out that they built the house and they didn't find out they owned it. They built it on land that they didn't own.
Uh-oh. Oh, was
So
who owned
they
the who owned
had
Oh, go ahead.
they had to buy the uh, land from the owner who owned it after they built the house.
Was that the York family that owned the land that they built it on?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was.
Okay. Now you were telling me earlier, before we had to take a short break, you were telling me about your dad having a dog, a mutt, that could, on a voice command, go get the milk cow, bring it to the barn, and put it in a stall.
Yeah,
Okay.
he couldn't close the door, of course, but he knew the difference between the milk cow and the sheep and the other cattle.
Wow.
And at Dad's command, he could go and get any one of them.
Wow. Wow. But he didn't recognize your voice, so you had to go do it yourself when you were given that chore, right?
Right.
Oh boy. All right. So you were telling me about your chores, and you talked about moving livestock from field to field. You also talked about sacking grain. Why would you guys have to sack grain? And what was going on there?
Either we were going to have it turned into flour or we had sold it.
Okay. And uh, let's see. You told me when you were talking about the crops that you raised, you talked about oats. Would this typically be in corn? Would this be corn or oats that you were sacking, or were there something else that you would do?
Wheat,
I didn't know you grew wheat.
usually.
How many acres of wheat did you guys put out every year?
Uh, uh, it varied, usually 20 acres of wheat.
All right. And how did you plant wheat when you didn't? I mean, you haven't told me about any tractors yet. When did you buy your first tractor?
We had 1020 International. Uh, uh, we overhauled it and uh, the rods went out in it because somebody had drained the oil out of it.
What year did you buy this 1020 International?
I don't know, around 42.
Okay. So around the time you were 5, you got a tractor.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we got a Ford 8 and Ford uh, about 48 or 49.
All right. Now, after you bought a tractor, were you guys still using the team to pull a wagon, or did you use and or did you use the tractor to pull the wagon after that?
We used the team to pull the wagon and the tractor mainly for plowing or something uh, concerned with planting or harvesting.
Okay. How long did you guys keep a team of horses for pulling a wagon? I mean, at what year did you stop using the team of horses?
I don't know that we ever stopped.
So when you were 16 and left the farm, there was still a team of horses that pulled the wagon. Is that right?
Yes,
Gotcha. All right. All right.
Bob had a riding horse that Mom was so afraid that he would get thrown and hurt, and Bob had been riding that horse since he was big enough to carry Bob.
So your mom was just a worrier. Bob was safe on that horse, huh?
He would train that horse from a colt.
Yeah. Well, other than moving livestock and sacking grain, what were some of the other chores that you had, afternoon chores you had during the school year?
Well, later in the year, we would harvest corn, and I usually got the down row,
What does that mean?
the row you ran over and knocked it down.
So how did you harvest corn? Walk me through that process.
Well, we would take about 7 rows and straddle the mid row with the corn wagon, and then uh, uh, Junior and David would get on one side of it for a 3 row swath, and Dad would take the other 3 rows, and I would get the boundary down row and break off the ears and throw them in the wagon.
So you didn't have any kind of equipment that did this. This was all done by hand.
No, no equipment.
Okay. Okay. And how many acres did you typically keep in corn?
About 20, but it varied. Sometimes we would have as low as 10. Sometimes we raised corn at my grandpa's place.
Okay. So,
That was when Grandpa moved to up the holler from Kegville.
and how far was that from your house?
2.5 miles. That was where we caught the school bus.
Oh, okay.
when we got to, to high school.
Okay. So you walked to school from first to eighth grade, and then ninth grade through the end of high school, you took a school bus into town to Van Buren High School, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you caught the bus. How far did you have to walk to get to the bus stop?
Uh, it was 2.5 miles, but we usually didn't walk. Dad took us in the pickup.
Oh, okay. So by the time you were old enough to go to high school, you guys had a pickup. You'd all just pile in the pickup, and
Yeah.
your dad would drop you off
Mm-hmm.
because you were the youngest of that group. So, right? Or who was younger than you? You're in the
Uh,
middle child.
uh,
Gee,
Margie and and Bobby
right.
were
But Bobby wasn't even born when you were still going to.
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So tell me about your what kind of chores you guys would do during the summer. What I mean, you lived on a farm. What did you guys do? I mean, you farmed.
Harvested hay mostly and baled a lot with the Coons baler.
Okay. Now, you told me.
I
Go ahead.
was the favorite wire hooker for that baler.
What is a wire hooker on a baler?
You had to wrap the bale in wire. Uh, they hadn't invented baler twine yet, and Coons baler used uh, wire that he bought prepackaged 100 in a slave,
Okay.
and he would stand on one side of the press, and I was on the other side. And ever so often, he would put a block in it that had slots for the wires, and he would hook a needle on the. We had a 24-inch needle that I would shove through the slot.
Hmm.
And he would hook a wire onto it, and I would pull it through. Then a little further down the press, he would hook a needle. He would push the needle through the slot, and I would hook the wire on it, and he would pull it through the press and tie it.
Hmm. How long would it take you to harvest an acre of corn when you use the method you were describing earlier about your dad taking 3 rows, Junior and David taking 3 rows, and you getting the down rows that had been knocked over by the wagon?
Usually we do a load an evening, and there were close to uh, I will not say that the rows went all the way across the field. Uh, Whichever field we were harvesting, uh, but but we uh, usually did a wagon load an evening.
Okay. And how many passes back and forth across the field would it take to get a wagon load, typically?
Depends on the field.
Okay. How?
Sometimes uh, we, we go across the field and back, and we have a load. And sometimes it would take 2 or 3 trips across the field,
Gotcha. Okay.
depending on how much corn there was
Oh,
and how good of year we had.
okay. Tell me about Tell me a little bit more about your mom. I knew grandma, but when I knew her, she was an older lady, and you know, she cooked a little bit, and I mean, I did know her when she lived out on the farm, but she moved into town pretty soon after I was old enough to remember. So tell me about your mom. Just things that you remember about her, things you'd like other people to know about her. Where was
Well,
she born, first of all?
she was born in Van Buren, uh, Charlie and Lil Odell, and my dad met her when she was teaching school at Van Buren, uh, at Dry Valley, and she boarded with the Coons family when she was teaching school, and my dad got to know her, and uh, they were married in 1930 or 31. David was born in 32, so they were married in 31.
Okay. How old was she when she was married, do you know?
About 22.
Okay. And so that means your dad was about 32.
Yeah,
All right. So your mom was teaching school and she lived with Coon, boarded with Coon. Um, what is Coon's relationship to your family? Where does he enter into this?
he's a dad's brother,
Okay. So,
and he lived the first farm past the school.
okay. Did his land border onto your farm?
Yes,
Okay. And you already talked about baling using Coon's baler. Did Was that really common that people would use each other's equipment? You'd help each other out farming. You'd go and help him bale fields and he'd come and help you bale your fields?
Well, uh, yes and no. We did that for the threshing, small grain, oats, barley, and wheat, but uh, usually it was just uh, couldn't, couldn't expected Dad and crew to help him bale hay wherever it was.
Mm. Okay. Well, let's get back to talking about your mom. Your mom was 22 and working as a school teacher in Fremont, right?
No,
In Dry Valley?
Dry Valley,
Okay. And what did she teach?
everything.
Okay. And she had graduated from high school, correct?
Yes,
Had she gone to any school after high school?
and no.
Okay. But she did well enough in her schooling that they thought she could teach.
Uh, their requirements for a teacher were lax.
How many years did she teach? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
She taught for a few years, and after Dad married her, she was the secretary of the school board.
Oh, how long did she do that?
Several years.
Okay. Was she still
I
doing?
think she was still secretary after the school shut down, which was about 1954.
That school that you went to from first to eighth grade?
Yeah,
That shut down in
it,
1954?
it shut down about 1950.
Okay.
I think I was the last person to go there.
Okay. So Jean and Margie didn't go to that school building.
Yes, they went while I was uh, going.
Okay. But then when you got out, they stopped going there as well.
I think they, no, they finished the grade school there,
Okay. All right.
and then the school shut down.
Did your mom get paid for being the secretary of the school board?
Yes,
All right. And then you also told me that she had, you know, that she sold butter and she sold eggs. Did she do anything else for income while you were a kid?
sold produce out of the garden. Uh, that was also the afternoon chore. Was harvest the string beans or tomatoes,
Okay.
and she sold uh, bushels of tomatoes and bushels of string beans.
Wow. So your mom was provided a lot of the family income.
Yes,
Okay.
she definitely did.
All right. What about, did she have any hobbies, or did she do anything for fun, or did she have time for any of that when you were growing up? Did she paint? Did she sew? Did she write?
Well, she tried to paint, but paint by numbers was as far as she got.
Well,
She was a very nice person.
I remember her as being nice, and I remember her being very soft spoken. I have a memory of you talking about her doing some, building some furniture. Is that right? Did she?
Yes,
So, what kind of furniture did she build?
she built uh, uh, a settee uh, for the house we lived in, and uh, she built the kitchen chairs, and she built uh, the cabinets where she stored the flour and meal and stuff.
Wow. Is that where you started to learn uh, woodworking?
Probably, but not specifically.
All right. So, I mean, your mom was doing woodworking. Did she have any other skills? Did she work on vehicles? Was she mechanical also?
No, she sewed and made our she made our overalls.
Okay.
She bade gentlemen and cut out the buttons uh, with a patch of material around the buttons, and she would use the buttons on the material she made uh, on the pants she would make. She would sew the button in from the back, and it would probably say Sears Roebuck on the button, and she would sew it on the back of the uh, material so that it would look like a new button.
Hmm. So she reused buttons.
Yeah. Uh, and those were uh, pedestal buttons.
What does that mean?
It's thick, but it had a pedestal on the back of it
Okay.
for galluses to snap in.
Oh, okay. It was like a two-part button. You'd have to snap another part onto the button.
No,
Oh, okay. Well, what does that mean? What is a gallus?
a suspenders.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, tell me about your dad. Your mom finished high school and taught at high school. Did your dad go to high school?
No, he could dropped out of school in the third grade to run the farm for grandma.
How come that was? Why did he have to run the farm when he was in third grade?
He uh, got to third grade and gave it up as a bad job.
did did he have a father? Well, no, his father died, right?
His father was shot in the back
When was his father shot?
uh, about 1904.
What was he doing when he was shot?
He was walking away from the landlord in Chandler, Oklahoma.
Okay. So is that where they were living at the time?
Yes.
Okay. So he was walking away from the landlord. Had they been arguing?
Well, uh, the landlord rented him the property for the year, and he had a pretty good crop.
Okay.
And the landlord decided he was going to kick John off the field and harvest the crop himself. So he approached Grandpa while he was plowing the corn, and the story I got was that Grandpa told him he wasn't going to move until he harvested his crop. And he walked away from the guy, and the guy shot him in the back.
Did the guy go to jail?
Yes, he died in jail.
All right. So he didn't get away with it.
Yeah, no.
All right. Had Coon already been born at this time?
Yes, Grandma was pregnant with Monty.
Okay.
Monty never saw his dad.
I gotcha. And okay, so your dad was the oldest, then Coon, or was Coon the oldest?
No, Dad was older than Coon, but Vivian was older than Dad.
Oh, okay. So your dad had Vivian, Coon, and Monty were his full brothers, and then his mom married Koger,
Yes,
and he had some step siblings or half siblings as well, right?
one,
Just T.
just T.
And T's full name was the letter T
Yes.
because they didn't want to waste letters on a name or anything like that.
Well, uh, 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 stepdad's name was James Earl Franklin Koger.
They thought he had enough names for everybody, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So your dad's father gets murdered in Oklahoma. So his wife moves the family to Van Buren, Missouri, correct?
Yeah.
And now, was she from Van Buren? Why did she move from?
No,
What was in Van Buren that drew her there?
I have no idea except that the farm was for sale there.
Oh, so she knew where there was a farm for sale that she came to get.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And so was the farm that you grew up on the farm that your dad dropped out of school to run, to work on?
Yeah.
Okay. And how old then was your dad when when his mom married Mr. Koger?
I'm not sure, but he was a teenager.
Oh. So he didn't want to go back to school after having been away from school for so long, right?
No.
Could he read? Could your dad read?
Yeah. He eventually read, learned to read and write, but it was because my mom was a school teacher.
How was their relationship?
Good.
They got along real well?
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. Well, I have very few memories of your dad. My memory of him, in my memory, I just remember him as a very, very old man who had emphysema.
Yes.
But he really wasn't that old when he died, was he? He was in his 60s, wasn't he?
He was 71.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, and he had emphysema. Was he a smoker?
No, but he baled hay for the baler, and Ken would always put him feeding the press, and that was the dustiest job there was.
Oh, okay. And your dad wasn't a very tall man either, was he?
No, it was 5'8".
Oh, well, that's taller than I thought. I just had for some reason I thought he was shorter than that. 5'8's pretty average, especially for that time. But Coon was a lot bigger, right?
Yeah, Coon was over 6 feet,
Okay.
and he weighed about 200 pounds. And my dad never topped 180.
You told me about how your dad went to Wyoming to do some logging. What other non-farming jobs did he do for money?
Well, he skidded logs locally there. He would go with the team and he would drag logs through the woods to where the logger had designated he could get through with a truck and rack the logs there. So gather them in to where the logger could load up and then take them through the lumber mill.
Okay. And skidding a log is just pulling it out of the woods. It's not doing.
Yes.
Somebody else had cut it down, and somebody else was going to process it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they would cut them up into length, and he would drag the logs out and rack them
Okay.
where they could load them.
Did he do anything else? Did he ever do any like mining or sell? I mean, did he trade livestock or raise horses or do anything like that?
He kept a stud horse.
Okay. So he would breed horses.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Um, how many? Well, he went away to Wyoming to do logging. Did he do that often? Go away from the farm to make
No,
money?
only once. David was in college first year, and he couldn't find a job
Okay.
when he got through with that year, and he got a chance to go to Wyoming. And he made it up with Dad to come out if he got a job and was making money.
Okay. I've got a glare on the top of your head. It looks like part of your head's missing, so I'm trying to find a good angle here. All right.
That was 1952. And we had a drought that year and didn't raise enough on the farm to feed the cattle.
Oh, so you had to buy feed.
Yeah.
All right. So, wait a minute. Let's back up a minute. Your brother went to college. Was that pretty common back then for
No,
kids to go to college?
he was the first Godsy to get to college education.
Now, when you saw your older brother going to college, did that make you want to go to college?
No,
How come?
I thought I was going to raise pigs.
Oh, we already talked about that. But you didn't raise pigs. What happened when you got out of high school?
Uncle Lawrence came down and no, I'm getting ahead of. I went to Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana, with a geological survey, and spent the winter down there, and Junior came down after January